Hello, everyone. This is English Pro podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how to improve your English. Really, this is a question, probably the most important question that I get in my over 10 years of teaching English. So, it's something that it's very crucial and something that students really have to rectify and get better at, no? Well, I'm here with Mishi. Hi, Mishi.
Hi, hello everyone.
Yes. Mishi has been also teaching English for well over 10 years now, and she has a lot of experience. And just is this something is it a question that you get a lot also?
Yeah, it's like the $1 million question. And there are different things students can do. The first thing I always tell them is to practice a lot. This is probably not a novelty, but what often happens is that student enrolls in a course or maybe has like certain times at school to study English, but they don't revise their notes afterwards. They don't allocate enough time on really learning and the acquisition process that the brain needs. You know that this is basically science, right? The brain needs to go through neurogenesis in order to learn something. It can be playing an instrument, a language, learning how to cook, or whatever you learn. So I always tell them you need to set some time outside of classroom hours to revise what you've learned, to apply different techniques to memorize, to learn to start using the language outside of the classroom. That's the first thing that I always tell them. Matt, can you share maybe another tip that you have for students? Please.
Well, it's not really a tip. It's kind of going off of what you just said. I think that I always tell that to my students, consistency. A lot of times students, so for example, I'm teaching them in a particular semester, and then I don't see them in a couple of months.
Yeah, that's true.
And they come back and they say, or even let's say even longer. Let's say like maybe 4 or 5 months, and I say, hey, let's call the student Carol, for example. Hey, Carol, nice to see you. And she's, oh, teacher, nice to see you again. I'm like, yes. And how is your English coming on? Oh, teacher, I haven't. And I can tell that their English is it's not as good, right?
A little off.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, what? And then they're like, oh, no, I haven't been teaching for 5. Sorry, I haven't been learning for 5 months. I'm like, wow, no. So I think consistency is very important. I know a lot of times professionals or students are very busy, but I try to tell them, try do your best. Try to enroll. If you've enrolled into a program, stay consistent, okay? And if you're very busy, and let's say you do have to take a month off, do something. Watch a video, read a book, use an app, but stay consistent. I think that's the long duration that really hinders their progress. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, you're right. Also, depending on the English level they're at, because at first they really need to build a good base, a good ground to construct on that new structures, vocabulary, and all of those items of a language. I've had those carols in my class as well. One tip that you've just mentioned about videos, definitely that's a great tool. If they, for instance, if they like watching a series or a show, something that is of their interest, and they can watch it in English, maybe with subtitles, they'll be into it because they could relate what they know from the story to the language, and even if they don't understand every detail, they can get the gist. And I know that this is probably something that many people say, but it does work. And I often advise to start watching cartoons, maybe the cartoons that you used to watch as a child, that you already know how the story goes, but watch them in English with subtitles. You know, you have many tools online. You can use a YouTube tool to watch it a little bit more slowly at first, and then watch the shows at a normal speed, and then move on to a series and then to a movie. It's very good because you can hear it, but also you can see the images, and it's a good way and a fun way, entertaining way to learn, to remember
Yeah, yeah.
to have it.
I think that's a great advice. Well, I want to talk a little bit about common mistakes now with you and your experience. Well, of course, we have the important kind of subheadings to learn are speaking, listening, writing, and grammar, right? I think those are probably
Yeah,
the
for
main
skills
for
and,
skills,
yeah,
right?
mhm.
But sometimes I get students they say, "Teacher, which one should I focus on?" For example, no. And what is your opinion about that? Do you think that students should focus on all of them equally, or should they do should they focus on some skill more than others? Just to kind of interject quickly, I try to tell them that all of them are important. In order for them to improve, what do you think? What are your general opinion? You may disagree. I don't know. What are your opinions?
Well, it's true that you need to develop the four elements, let's say the four skills, but it's also true that first students learn for a reason. If you just mainly need to communicate because you want to travel, you want to live abroad, or you have a job opportunity or something, then concentrate more on speaking and listening, because that's what you need, right? But if you want to pursue a language career or be an ESL instructor, then definitely you also need the core knowledge of the language. So what really helps, I think, is also to know what kind of learner you are. Well, we all know about the VARC, like visual, auditory, reading and writing, or kinesthetic kind of learner, which, well, there's been a lot reading on that. But on top of that, you can also see maybe techniques that work for you. Some students like to make drawings, their own acronyms. Even, I don't know, at home you can label things around. Whatever you see that works best for you, just apply it. And if you feel like you need some more maybe input on listening, work on that.
Yes.
Spend some more time on that. For instance, the ESL Randall listenings are really good because they go according to topics, according to level. And of course, you should use our English Pro app. It's still in process, coming out soon.
Yes.
We've been working hard on the app, but it's really helpful. But you also have other apps, no? But maybe you want to share a little more
Sure,
about the app?
sure. Well, I mean, I think apps are an important way that you could improve your English. Definitely. Well, we're moving along here with our app. It's basically geared towards professionals and to students, and it's really skills based. No, it focuses on listening, speaking, reading, and writing. No, and we focus
For international exams.
for international
For
exams.
TOEFL
Yes.
and IELTS.
Yes, exactly. So we're for really well within the app. You have IELTS, TOEFL, Business English, and also we call it English
In action.
in action. Yes, which really looks at
Real situations.
real situations, but looks more for upper intermediate and advanced students. So looking ahead, just a little bit of a plug here for that. But yeah, now it's a great app which should be coming out soon. But coming back now to the topic at hand. I really agree with what you're saying. Like now, for example, the English learner has so many things in their disposal. Like for example, with technology, they have video,
right.
they have access to videos. They have access to so much grammar material, so much writing material. I mean, just at their fingertips. Imagine
that's true.
long ago. So really, there's no excuse in order for them to learn, right?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Also, something that I would like to add about the app that is coming soon is that the Business English and the English in Action programs that we're developing focus also on the cultural side. So it gives you real life settings in which you can practice and learn how to behave, what to say in different situations in the business world as well as in real life settings, because it's important to know about the culture of English native speakers as well. And as you said, Matt, there are so many tools, so you need to organize yourselves and maybe make a schedule and really work on your English, because it's a great tool to have, and you can make it if you really put your thought into it.
Exactly, and we have to be honest too. I think if a lot of times you see advertisements about learning English, really kind of gimmick, you know.
Like in 10 months, you'll be
Yeah,
like a
in
master.
10 months
Well,
you'll be a
depends.
master English
Yeah.
learner, and you have to be careful with such advertisings. You have to really, you have to put in the work. You have to do something, and it's kind of going back to that point which we brought up in earlier, consistency. You know,
Yeah.
whatever really, whatever it really is, you have to put in the work and stay consistent. Watch a video, do some grammar, do some speaking, etc. And also it's very important to get enrolled in something structured. No, like wherever you're from, if you're in Colombia, if you're in Peru, if you're in India, it really doesn't matter. Get it if it's online or if it's an English center, and being consistent, being enrolled in something. I think that also really helps. Just quickly, it also
Yes.
forces. Well, not forces is the right word, but it kind of makes you.
It gives you guidance.
Gives you
know.
guidance and structure.
Yeah,
no? I think
yeah. And many
structure
students need that.
is
Yeah.
really important, no?
Capacity
And have
to
fun.
follow.
And have fun. What
Oh,
about having
definitely,
fun?
of course.
Having fun. No, is you're learning a language. It's fun, right? So
Yeah.
that's very important. Let's just move on to one more point now. Maybe you can give like some practical advice. Let's say a student came up to you today in your class and they said, "Me, teacher, please tell me. I have to go to. I'm moving to. Actually, let's do it like this. I'm going to study at the university in London. But my let's say it's like their level is good, upper intermediate. What advice would you give that student?
Well, it's important to be realistic and to know where your English level is really at. When a student is at an upper intermediate level, I think it's doable, but that they can develop or do well in a program, in an undergraduate program. But you need to know that you're going to be studying majors, subjects that you've probably never seen, and in a foreign language. So you really need to prepare yourself. Take the time to revise those topics and to study at least 2 or 3 hours a day. I mean, like with a clear goal, no? If that's what you really want to do, because there's no magic trick,
Yes,
or
yes.
if they
There's
tell
no magic
you,
wand.
No, it's not going to happen.
Yes.
And well, work with professionals that can guide you, especially if you have a short time. It depends also how much time you have to move forward or to go where you're going.
Perfect. Well, I think that's enough for this podcast. Remember, think of it as a journey, step by step. Make a roadmap for yourself. Keep notes. See in which skills you need a little bit of work. For example, maybe you need some help in grammar. Then focus a little bit more on grammar. Maybe you want to focus on listening. You have so many videos online and access to. So listen to more things.